Okay, so Jen, do you want to just take a quick second to kind of introduce yourself and like a maybe a brief walkthrough of your journey so far?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Jen Beckwith. I am a wife and a mother of four lovely boys, the most of them from 17 to 25, so they're pretty much grown. And I was a mother looking for a new identity and who I was. And I found Tiffany on Facebook and was like, with no bookkeeping experience ever, I was like, well, I think I can do this. So on a Friday night while I was home by myself, I decided to do the course, and that was in June of 22. I have since grown my business to over 35 clients, a team of 7 to 8 people, and was able to quit my full-time job in February of 23, and I am now a full-time bookkeeper and firm owner. In May of 23, I decided to join the Restaurant Mastermind group that Tiffany and Chris had offered, with no restaurant experience either. I've never worked in a restaurant, but quickly learned with Chris's help in understanding the restaurant industry. Currently have about 8 restaurant clients. Of out of that 38 clients that I have, 8 of them are restaurants, looking to grow that to 20 restaurants by the end of 2025. So hopefully that's a little bit about my journey. Um, I would not have been able to do any of this without the academy. When I got my first client, I realized I didn't know anything at all. And um, without the academy, I wouldn't have been able to understand how to do the books. I really wouldn't have grown, I think, as fast as I did without the support of the restaurant. So, and currently, of my 4 boys, 3 of them work for me. So not only am I, a breadwinner in the family now, but my kids are also able to support themselves through college, working for their mom, and they are bookkeepers. They are actually doing the bookkeeping. So
Awesome. I love that. So you went from starting from scratch and not really even knowing how to do your first client by yourself to now having a really successful business with lots of clients and have even then been able to teach your young adult kids how to do it. So
yes,
that's really awesome. Proud of
yep.
you. So cool.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't
So
be able to do it without your support, 100%.
awesome. I'm so glad that we're able to help and work together. I mean, it's been a partnership, right? Like we've all
Yes,
together. So and that's what it's all about, helping each other. That's really what the Academy and the Inner Circle and the Mastermind, Restaurant Mastermind is all about, helping each other get to the next level, which is great. So if anybody has any questions for Jen, you can raise your hand, unmute or type the question in the chat specifically. So I'm going to pivot around if you guys have questions, but I'll also ask some because I think some of these that I will ask are things that you guys might want to know. But if you have specific ones, don't hesitate to ask. Yeah. But I think one good question would be, as you transitioned into becoming a restaurant bookkeeper specialist, can you explain a little bit about the benefits of that? Maybe like, is the pricing different? Things like that. Is it easier to get clients because you're specializing? I'd love to kind of know the pros, I guess, of doing that for you.
yeah. So I think one good thing that I like about specializing in a specific industry is that I know who my market is. There's no guessing for me who I'm marketing to. My website is 100% based towards the restaurant industry. Um, so that makes it a little bit easier for me as far as identifying who my clients are, who my potential clients are. So it's easier to communicate. I think that the restaurant industry, you don't need as many clients because they are usually higher paying clients. However, they do require a lot more detailed work. And I think that's where a lot of generalists don't understand the details that go into the restaurant industry, which is what I learned with from Chris and Tiffany through the Restaurant Mastermind, was all the little details where that helps me show my value to potential clients. But also in that industry, it's good because there are so many other tools and softwares that you can use to assist you, and that educating the client on those softwares and getting familiar with them is also very beneficial. And when people know that you specify in just one thing, it makes them more confident in your ability. If they know that you have, 8 restaurants, not just one, or not just, 15 of different kinds. So, that is, kind of where I like the restaurant industry. Now, I do take other clients only because I've built a great network of referrals, and I don't want to lose that network relationships that I've built with others. So I don't just take restaurants, but that is who I market to, and that is the client that I would prefer.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I love that strategy because I mean, why not? You already have 30 other clients that are not restaurants. So continue to grow that side too. But it makes your marketing a little bit more streamlined and easy and targeted instead of like, casting that huge wide net and wondering what route to go. You can really hone in on one industry.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're gonna pick one, restaurants are really good because there are so many of them. They're really easy to target, but then also you can charge more. So, do you want to talk a little bit about the different restaurant clients that you have, the sizes that they vary, and maybe the fees that you were able to charge for some of them?
Sure. So I have restaurants actually all over the country. I'm actually located in Ohio, but I have a really high-end seafood restaurant in Arizona. Um, and that is my mid-based client. Um, and depending on what kind of month we have and what responsibilities I have that month, it's either around $600 to $800 for that client monthly. I have 2 restaurants in North Carolina. And they are more like your American style. Actually, one's American and one is like an Indian kind of restaurant. Um, and they are both around this. They're all about the same. They're all around, $400 or $500. I do have a small mom and pops in Kentucky that is not a full size service restaurant. They just do almost like carry out. So that is on my lower end. And then I have a sandwich shop that is in Florida as well. That is on the lower end as well, and that's about $500 a month. And then I have 2 huge pizza shops here in Ohio. Actually, I have a meeting next or tomorrow with another pizza shop. But my biggest one, I think he is at about 2024 was about $5 million dollars is what he made in a year, and I charge him about $1,000 a month.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Great. So let's see, we got one question. What do you like most with restaurants in comparison to other industries when it comes to doing the actual work?
I like the actual, I guess the best thing is they're easy. Restaurant owners are hard because they're so busy, they're hard to communicate with, but they're the easiest to make happy, if that makes any sense. They don't have a lot of, they just want it done and not want to have to think about it. They don't have a lot of questions, concerns. They just want to make sure it's done correct. And if you're doing it correct and you're giving them some additional information that they're not used to getting, then they are even more excited. I had a call with my big restaurant on the other day and going through a great reporting system that I use outside of QuickBooks. And he's like, I just want to tell you, you just elevated my business by just giving me this extra reporting. And that is something that I learned in the Restaurant Academy with Chris, is a different software that you can use to give some more detailed stuff. So it's learning stuff like that that really sets you above the others.
Mhm. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. And, one of the things that we've always taught in the academy is to streamline your workflow. And for example, we recommend that you stick with QuickBooks Online because if you have to learn like 30 different, types of programs, then you're not going to be efficient. So one of the benefits of doing restaurant specifically is that you start to learn the other programs that they use, and then they can all kind of use the same ones and streamline that. And then those programs in and out for every single client instead of
Yep.
one client uses this and one client uses that.
Yeah. So I solely do QuickBooks Online. I don't. There are some other ones that restaurants use, but I do only use the QuickBooks Online. However, their point of sale systems are a lot different. There's many point of sale systems out there, but I
Mhm.
find that most of them also use the same kind of point of sale systems as well, which makes life a lot easier and understand. And my team can go through, and it makes it a lot easier for them to have one central. So like I have a restaurant team and a non-restaurant team.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that was going to be my next question for you too, is with this extra reporting and these more detailed, processes that you do, have you worked everything out to where your team is still able to help you with those things?
Yes. So my team pretty much does all the bookkeeping for all the clients except for two. And those are just because they are more they're doctors and offices that kind of have some patient information that I don't want to share. Um, so more the confidentiality thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, my team's able to do all the bookkeeping, all the reporting. Um, I still pull all the statements for my client, for my team. That way there's no risk, security risk from anyone on my team. It's all through me. So, but yeah,
Okay.
they have access to all that information.
Awesome. That's good. Yeah. So it's providing extra level of detail and services, but not something that's so detailed that you couldn't have your team help you with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. And Pat says, is there inventory involved and how is it different than regular businesses? So you want to talk a little bit about that and how Chris has helped teach you about the inventory?
Sure. So there is inventory. I do recommend inventory for most restaurants, but there are softwares out there that will help them track their inventory, which makes life a lot easier. There's stuff like Margin Edge or Extra Chef, depending on what software they use, that helps track inventory, um, which is a lot. Most systems don't. And actually, what's good is the inventory will actually go into QuickBooks by using this extra software. So, that's where once again it is beneficial to kind of know some software uses so that you can make your life and your client's life a lot easier. But by educating yourself in all the different things that are out there that could possibly be. And that's where, the Restaurant Mastermind group brought in some of those people to help us understand some of this different software that would not just help us, that also helps the clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I know that for me too, with taking on bookkeeping clients and anytime that they have questions, and they always have questions outside of the typical realm of bookkeeping because they look to us and they trust us to help them. And we've been so helpful to them in so many areas that when other questions pop up, we're the first people that they think to ask.
Mhm.
And one thing that I love about being in, masterminds or connecting with other people that have more connections than I do or know more than I do is that if my clients ask me a question, then I can ask my mentors and my coaches. And then, I can pass that information down. And when you're able to do that for your clients above and beyond even just basic bookkeeping, I mean, I feel like it solidifies your relationship with them and then they never want to leave, which is great for your business. And then
Mhm.
they start referring you. I know you've gotten a lot of referrals from your existing clients
Yes.
and things like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's great too about, especially if you're interested in niching in the restaurant specifically, because Chris is so knowledgeable about everything that goes along with even running restaurants and catering companies because she used to have some of her own. And so
Hmm.
she knows exactly what those business owners are feeling and what their needs and problems and stuff are. So even if you want to help them on a bigger level, you could do
Hmm.
that with her guidance.
And what's good about Chris too is she's open to other things as well because she knows she doesn't know everything. And, I was able to bring in some other people into the group that she was able to share with the group, just through my connections that I've had, that I've made in the restaurant industry. She was able to bring them on and kind of share some information so that everyone is educated on different opportunities, not just, myself. We share that information with everybody, which is huge because you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
And you don't know what type of people are out there in the restaurant industry that support restaurants. So
Mhm.
that's where building that network is really good in, getting a good understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. And also, whenever you started picking up some restaurant clients, I believe you and Chris kind of shared a contractor for a while.
We did, we
Okay.
did. And that contractor is now my lead bookkeeper.
Oh,
Um,
fantastic.
yes, so she actually runs my team for me.
Oh,
So
wow.
it actually worked out better for me than it did for her and Chris. It didn't necessarily work out for them, but she's been a vital part of my business over the last year and a half.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And that's kind of what Chris is there for too, to help. She's used a lot of VAs, specifically a lot in the Philippines,
Mhm.
which are nice because they don't require as high of a salary, especially for the entry level ones. So that's something that can be helpful as well as learning how to hire those VAs, get your contractors built out, but then also knowing exactly how to delegate the workload to them and what to expect when you're going in and reviewing.
Yeah, and half my team is from the Philippines. So
Awesome.
I have half my team is US based and the other half is from the Philippines.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Any other questions, guys? And Jen, do you have anything that you would specifically want people to know if they are considering, joining the Restaurant Mastermind or even the Bookkeeper Academy?
The only thing that I like to share with anyone either thinking about starting their business or joining an academy or a restaurant mastermind group is just remember that you'll never see results if you don't put the work in. So just by joining a group or joining an academy does not mean you're going to immediately see results. You've got to put the work in. And I work 50 to 60 hours a week because I want to be successful and I want to grow my business. You don't have to do that to still be successful, but that's just the level that I want to take my business. But just remember that it's no matter what you decide, the support is there, but you have to put in the work.
Yep, I love that. Absolutely. Yep, it does take effort and commitment and time dedication to getting it going. Exactly. And I think one last thing I would love for you to tell everyone is between the restaurant clients and just general clients, where have you found the most success with finding these clients and just marketing in general?
So I use all avenues and I use all kinds of tools for marketing, whether it's, email marketing, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that social media kind of marketing. But really, I found the best relationships with clients is through networking and building relationships. And, it's not, there's so many different tools, but you just have to remember they're all just tools. There is no right way. And you've got to use 14 different avenues to market your clients and market and build those relationships. But truly, for me, BNI chamber events. I'm a member of two chambers, BNI, another connected networking event that is local to me. Any kind of local thing. I do local sponsorships for football teams and the band and this and that, so that my name is out there in the community. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff as well. I volunteer. for, events, so that people see my company name and they see a face with the company. So that's how I've built my business.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. And for those of you that are watching that, already have a business started and have done a little bit of networking, you probably understand, what needs to be involved with this. But for everybody that's new, I know a lot of people always think, networking, I'm a total beginner. How can I do that? And they just like shudder at it. But they look at you, I guarantee, and think, she's a pro at this. Of course she can network, right? And you're so confident talking, but this has been a transition for you too, right? Like learning how to network. And can you kind of talk about how you felt the first time that you had to go to a networking event? Because we don't just pop out of the womb good at this.
We do not. So, I actually, when I stood up in front of my first BNI group, my chin was quivering. I was so nervous, and it was only a group of like 15 to 20 people. And first of all, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know enough about my business yet. I didn't even really know about who I was, where I wanted to go, what I was like, how I even helped people. I didn't understand any of that yet. Um, but the more I spoke and the more I talked, the more comfortable I got. Now, I still hate to network. I honestly do. I'm the first one usually there because I don't want to walk into a crowded room. I know that makes me uncomfortable. So I know that ahead of time. So I'm always one of the first ones there, and I'm always one of the last ones to leave, um, because that makes me more comfortable. So, you've got to find what your comfort level is. But now I can go to a chamber event and I can speak and give a 10-minute presentation and I'm perfectly fine. But that has been 3 years in the making.
Yeah.
I truly, and it goes to whatever group I'm in. So if I'm been part of that group for a while, then I'm more comfortable and I can speak a lot easier. But 100%, it is not just go and comfortable. It was one of the most uncomfortable things for probably the first year.
Mhm. Yeah, and I can totally relate to that too, because I felt that way as well. And every time I have to turn that live on Facebook, I feel uncomfortable and my stomach hurts. So it's just, knowing that it's worth it and just making yourself do it, because why live in fear, right?
Mhm.
But do you feel like forcing yourself to do those things has been a worthwhile endeavor?
It is. It has helped me grow as a person, and not just on my business sense, but truly in my confidence in myself and
Mhm.
who I am and who I want to be. And I think that as a mother, and I think I lost that for a period of time.
Yeah.
But since I've started my business and I've put myself out there, I've been able to gain that back.
Mhm.
And I think, and I tell my husband all the time, like, this journey has been ups and downs and, sideways and, putting me outside of my comfort zone more than I like. But it's really helped me grow and develop into a completely different person than I was 3 years ago.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on here and sharing everything. And if anybody watching this wants to work with Jen, she's a mentor in our Bookkeeper Academy, and she still works with Chris in the Restaurant Mastermind. So if you join that, you'll also get to collaborate with Jen and work with her too. So let us know if you guys have any more questions.
Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I am on Facebook, or
Uh,
LinkedIn. I'll answer them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being open to doing that.
Yes. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
All right. Bye. Thanks, everyone.